welcome back to my channel. My name is Kelsey and I'm here today to do my January TBR. So first things first, Happy New Year everyone. I hope you had a lovely holidays. For me, I am feeling a bit under the weather, so some of the books in this video will be put on screen even though I have the physical copies. The books are at my mom's house, and just because I'm feeling a little under the weather, even though I tested negative for COVID, I don't want to make my mom sick. So until I'm feeling better, that's when I'll go get the books. So we'll start right off with the arcs I would like to get to in the month of January, the first of which I have already read upon filming this, and it is Anatomy, a Love Story by Dana Schwartz. I really love this. This is a story that takes place in Edinburgh in 1817, and it follows a young girl named Hazel who has dreams and ambitions of becoming a physician, and she is really good at it. She understands the human anatomy and is far surpassing her male peers, but is just not given the opportunity to become a physician. Hazel is attending classes at the anatomist society where they are kind of dissecting bodies, and she has a run-in with a young man named Jack who is one of the resurrection men, and he is the one stealing the bodies from the graves to give to the anatomist society. However, strange men have been hanging around the cemeteries and some of Jack's friends have been disappearing, so they kind of work together to solve this like weird mystery. I loved it. I won't get into my full review about it because I'll obviously get into it in my January wrap-up, but it was really engaging, really fun, and I would recommend picking it up this month. It comes out January 18th. The next arc I would like to get to, I actually started it today, and it is Dead Silence by S.A. Barnes. This has a really interesting catchline, which is that the Titanic meets The Shining, and I know that it is a horror sci-fi type of genre, which is my shit. I love horror sci-fi. It's my favorite type of horror. Anything to do with sci-fi and scary shit, I love it. So I immediately requested this. I don't even know what it's about. We're gonna find out together. So Claire is days away from being unemployed when her beacon repair crew picks up a strange distress signal. With nothing to lose and no desire to return to Earth, Claire and her team decide to investigate. What they find at the other end of the signal is a shock. The Aurora, a famous luxury space liner that vanished on its maiden tour of the solar system more than 20 years ago. A salvage claim like this could set Claire and her crew up for life, but a quick trip through the Aurora reveals something isn't right. So I started it, like I said, today, and keen to continue. The next arc that I want to read this month is so exciting to me. It's Gallant by V.E. Schwab. If you have been following my channel at all or know me at all, you would know that V.E. Schwab is absolutely my favorite author of all time. I've loved everything she's pretty much put out in the last 10 years. I'm obsessed with her writing, I'm obsessed with her worlds and her characters, and I absolutely love her. So I did not need to know what this book was about to request it as an arc and to order 2 pre-orders for it. So from what I understand, this follows a young girl named Olivia who receives a letter to come back to her family home of Gallant. But when Olivia arrives to Gallant, no one there is expecting her. Olivia is very well aware that Gallant has its mysteries, and she is really determined to uncover them. One day when she crosses a ruined wall, she steps into another side of the wall and thinks that she's still in Gallant, but not exactly. So this is like a otherworldly, realm kind of situation. I don't know. I'm so excited. I don't even care what it's about. Like I'm saying, I'm gonna read it, I'm gonna love it, and I'm gonna enjoy it. And I want to read it this month because it is my birthday month. I really want to start this on my birthday. Because it is only 352 pages, I might read this all in one day. Expect a vlog. I'm definitely trying it out. And this is saying that it is an eerie standalone saga about life, death, and a young woman beckoned by both. Perfection. Can't wait. Then I have other books that I would like to get to. So last year in 2021, I had my Brandon Sanderson project, and this is where I read the backlist of Brandon Sanderson, 1 book a month for the entire year. Because I had accumulated so much of Brandon Sanderson's books, knowing that I would enjoy all of them and then being too afraid to read any of them. I have the same situation this year, but with Matt Haig. I've accumulated a lot of Matt Haig's books because I loved The Humans so much, and I have all of them now. I think I relate very heavily to Matt Haig and the topics that he has in his books, so I do want to pick up the entirety of his backlist since I fucking have it. So the first of which is his debut novel, The Last Family in England, and I can already tell that this book is going to break me because it follows or is in the perspective of a dog. So Prince is this adorable dog who lives up to the Labrador Pact. And what that is to remain loyal to your human masters, serve and protect your family at all costs. However, other dogs led by the Springer Spaniels, have revolted. Their slogans are dogs for dogs, not for humans, and pleasure, not duty. So Prince really wants to take his responsibilities seriously and is being mentored by an older Labrador named Henry. But the family that Prince lives with is beginning to deteriorate. And I love this premise so much. I know that it is like a reimagining of Shakespeare's Henry plays. I wanted to read them beforehand. However, I'm not too keen on Shakespeare's histories, so I don't think I will. But I love this premise. I love a dog trying to fix his family. Like, I just think it's so cute. I can't wait to read it. I know it's gonna make me cry. I'm ready. After that, I will be buddy reading The Arithmetist by Brandon Sanderson with Danny over at Current Chapter. My year Brandon Sanderson has not ended just yet. I still have a lot of books to read from him. He's just not going to be my priority this year, even though technically I am reading another Brandon Sanderson book a month following another Brandon Sanderson book again. The Arithmetist, from what I understand, is Brandon Sanderson's YA book. So a young boy named Joel wants to be a arithmetist, and in this world, the arithmetists have the power to infuse life into two-dimensional figures known as chalklings. Arithmetists are humanity's only defense against the wild chalklings. Having nearly overrun the territory of Nebraska, the wild chalklings now threaten all of American Isles. At the school that he attends, the students start disappearing, kidnapped from their rooms at night, leaving trails of blood. So Joel is assigned to help the professor who is investigating these crimes and I guess become a arithmetist and defeat the evil. I'm really excited for this. I really enjoy Brandon Sanderson's YA books. I think he has a knack for writing really well thought out characters in both his adult and young adult. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how Brandon Sanderson tackles this like new world. He's really great with magic systems, so I know that I could trust that this magic system will be well done.
I actually forgot to mention that I am participating in another buddy read with Mel Reads' Patreon over at the Citadel, and it is for She Who Became the Sun by Shelley Parker Chan. This is kind of a Mulan, the Song of Achilles retelling. The story starts off with two siblings, the boy who is destined for greatness and the girl who is destined for nothingness. When their town is attacked by a bandit, the son is the one who unfortunately passes away, and his sister starts to use his identity in order to join a monastery so that she may survive. This is one of the books I am looking forward to the most reading in January, so it's kind of a shame I forgot to talk about it when I looked all good with like appropriate lighting. I will also be using this book for Books and Lala's Buzz Wordathon. She hosts year long, and basically you need to select from one buzzword, whatever the word is of the month, a book that goes along with that word. So for the month of January, it is a book with one of the 5 W's in the title. So who, what, when, where, and why, and She Who Became the Sun has the who in it. So it covers 2 birds with 1 stone, and I will definitely be reading it in January.
After that, I do have a couple of physical books with me here. So I just want to mention that I am in the middle of my reread of The Two Towers by J.R.R. Tolkien. I love Tolkien. I have been rereading this series in preparation to read The Silmarillion. I just wanted to mention, I don't know if I need to explain what The Two Towers are about. The Lord of the Rings follows a young hobbit named Frodo who is tasked with taking this ring to Mordor in order to destroy it because it has done nothing but evil. In The Two Towers specifically, the Company of the Ring is torn apart, so Frodo and Sam are alone on this journey, and so far 200 pages in, which was book 3, we have followed Aragorn, Legolas, Gimli, and Gandalf, and I'm pretty sure the second half of the book follows Sam and Frodo. I have not read this in a couple of years. I thought that I didn't like this book. I thought it was my least favorite, but I'm really enjoying this. So I'm very excited to finish this month. I will probably pick up The Return of the King next month, but this is on the TBR this month and I am halfway through. I also put Mr. Impossible by Maggie Stiefvater on the TBR. I wanted to read this in December if I could, but I didn't get a chance to it, which doesn't really matter to me. So this is the second book in Maggie Stiefvater's Dreamers series. That is the second part of Maggie Stiefvater's Raven Boys cycle. So the Raven Boys followed a group of boys who come into contact with a young girl named Blue. Blue has kind of been prophesized that she will kill the first boy she kisses, and due to that plot point, they come together and are in the midst of finding a bunch of way lines and a dead Welsh king. It's really spooky and fun and like paranormal. I really enjoyed it. The second installment follows one of the Raven Boys named Rowan.
Me again. Just another correction. I know his name is Ronan. I say Rowan several times until I realize that I was saying Rowan, and then I say Ronan, but I never ever clarify that. It happened in my head and I never vocalized it. So I want you to know that while you're watching this and you might be getting annoyed, I know his name is Ronan, okay? And I correct it.
And Rowan has this power that I don't want to really get into because it spoils the Raven cycle. Rowan is one of my favorite characters. I really like him. I think I relate to him a lot. He is like that bad boy, kind of rough and tough type of guy that I adore. I don't know how successful this series is going to be. I've kind of lost interest despite Ronan being one of my favorite characters. So we'll see what happens. This title and cover has not been intriguing me, but I hope my love for Ronan will keep me going. I also would really like to finish off the Poppy War trilogy. This is one of my favorite trilogies. This is The Burning God by R.F. Kuang. The Poppy War follows a young girl named Rin who wants to escape poverty in her hometown, studies to be a part of this elite military school in order to escape a marriage that she does not want to be a part of. That's the beginning portions of the novels. She ends up getting into the academy. I don't think that's a spoiler, but the entire plot of the rest of the series is so magnum that I really don't want to get into it. Oh, I realize you can't even see the cover that well. This book is a fantastical take on the Japanese Sino War. I think if you know what that is about, you can kind of imagine the darkness that this book gets into. And I absolutely love it. I'm really keen to read the final book, and I want to finish it this month knowing that it will completely blow me away. And finally, the last two books on my TBR are going to be a part of my 30 before 30. I haven't filmed this video yet, so you're getting like a little sneak preview if you watch this TBR. But next year, next January 13th, I am turning 30 years old. I have a bunch of books that I would like to read this year and read them before I turn 30. So I won't get too much into why these books are on the list, but just that they are a part of it and they are the reason I am reading them in the month of January. So the first of which is The Devil's Thief by Lisa Maxwell. This is the second book in the Last Magician series, and I think last year I read it in either September or October. Absolutely love The Last Magician. I've read it twice now. I think it is absolutely phenomenal and a really great YA series that I think is completely underrated. It follows a young thief named Esta who is able to kind of like control time, and she was working together with a professor to kind of capture these important physical objects throughout history that helped what is this evil corporation in our time. So they are called the Order, and they have placed a kind of spell over Manhattan where people with powers are kind of stuck on Manhattan Island. Esta goes back in time in order to take away the objects that the Order has that they are using to kind of cast this spell and control everybody. I love it. It's a historical fantasy. I think it's so good. The Devil's Thief is the second installment. I really want to complete this series. That is one of my main goals. But the second book in this series is my main priority for 2022. And the final book I would like to read in my TBR and a part of my 30 before 30 series is The Body Keeps the Score: Brain, Mind, and Body in the Healing of Trauma by Dr. Bessel van der Kolk. This, I'll be completely honest, is a book my therapist told me to read. Essentially, this is what the title is suggesting. It is going into trauma and how people deal with the aftermath of trauma, specifically focusing on veterans, but it also gets into people who grew up with alcoholics and couples who have engaged in physical violence. And then such experiences inevitably leave traces on minds, emotions, and even on biology. I won't get into why this was suggested to me by my therapist, but I need to read it. And if I don't put it on this list, I'm gonna stick in my denial and never read it. I feel like this is gonna be a really impactful book for me. It is nonfiction on psychology, which is something that interests me regardless. So I'm really looking forward to reading this, and hopefully it will help me. So that's it. These are not all the books I want to read in January. It actually looks quite sad. Please let me know down below if you have read any of these books. Did you like them? Did you hate them? Do you think I'll like them or hate them? Let me know down below. If you would like to follow me on any of my other social medias, I do leave a link down below to my Twitter, Goodreads, and Instagram if you would like to follow me there. And because it is the end of the video, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell if you want to, because it makes me feel really special and loved, and I would appreciate it. That's it. I don't know ever how to end these things in a less awkward way, so I will just see you in the next one. Bye!